Good morning. Today I'll be talking about why I started a YouTube channel and why I think that you might also benefit from doing the same. So I'm making these videos that don't have any viewers as of yet, but I've always been into, or always the last 10, 12 years, I've been journaling pretty much daily, and that to me has been very helpful. I journal to basically, first of all, since my memory isn't great, it helps me. It's nice to have a log or a history of what I've been up to, what I've been thinking. And it also helps me like process my thoughts, emotions. It helps me plan, helps me with my focus. Because often I'll be doing like a lot of things in a day and things will like fall by the wayside. But if you take the time in the evening or the next morning to recap what you've been up to, often there's like, oh, I forgot about this or I forgot about that. And it's really useful in that sense to make sure that you, especially if you have ADHD, for instance, I think it might be really helpful to just align things, make sure nothing slips through the cracks. And when you're planning something, it's really helpful, make a list of pros and cons. And it's much easier in writing than to try and keep it all in your head. And stuff that happens also, like emotional events that might happen. If you write about it, often it's easier to then go to sleep afterward. You kind of get it out of your system. You've processed it in a way. So I think it helps with like creativity, focus, and it's also a good way to do self-reflection and to learn more about yourself. And nowadays with tools like AI, it's even more useful. I have this, I write my journal entries in Evernote, for instance, and I like looking back, say 1 year, 3 years, 5 or 10, to see how I've changed, what patterns still exist, which ones have, in which ways I might have grown, or in which ways I can still improve. And it's just fun to do, like to see these old journal entries reappear after a certain amount of time, and to see, it's kind of like writing a letter to yourself, which is also something you can do as a side track. There's this website where you can write an email to yourself in whatever time period you set. And I did it once and forgot that I did it, and it's kind of fun when it arrives if you make predictions about what you might be up to or what might be important to you. It's just fun to see and to read. So in that way, what I have set up now is an automation where I get a notification on my phone to read these older entries. So it's all automated. And now with AI, you can actually ask AI to do really cool stuff. Like, okay, pretend that you're a psychologist and evaluate this journal entry and give advice, or pretend that you're my dad, or pretend that you're a friend. Depends on how harsh you want your life advice and how brutally honest. You could even use famous people say Alan Watts, what would he think or what would he say? And I think it's a great way to just get inspiration or get feedback without making everything public. That's what I like about the journaling and the personal ones where you write it down, as opposed to like vlogging. But both have their pros and their cons. So with vlogging, for instance, which is that's why I started this. You get like more speaking skills. That's something I've always found that my writing is a lot better than my speaking. So hopefully that's something that'll improve over time by doing these videos. And of course, you get a bit more information about the surroundings where you were. You're kind of forced to do it more spontaneously and more in one sitting. Whereas with the writing, sometimes I feel like, I can catch up to it, and it kind of sits there for a while and then becomes a task. So it helps with consistency as well to do this like on a daily basis. And of course, there's the whether or not the channel become successful or not. There's the possibility that you might find people that think alike. There's the possibility that you might one day turn it into a stream of income, you know, if you get enough people subscribing to your channel, your YouTube, or whatever platform you want to be using. You can make new friends, you could make new connections, you could meet people that can help you out in certain ways. It's not to say it's gonna happen, but it's more likely, I guess, if you're putting yourself out there than not. What else? I feel I'm with the videos, it's harder to stay on topic and focused. But yeah, my main message, I guess, is that it's something that's fun to do. Like I started making these videos because it's something that helps me, whether other people are gonna watch it or not. Sure, it takes a bit of time, but I see it as an investment and I see it as a fun thing to do. And that kind of I think applies to most things that you choose to do in life. You know, if you weren't being compensated for it, is it something that you would still do? And if the answer is yes, then you're probably on the right track. So that's one thing. Secondly, for me at least, you know, I work from home most of the time. I'm at the computer a lot, so making videos can be motivating if you have certain ideas to get you out of the house, get you out and about, interact with friends. You know, that's one of the things, a lot of these videos that I want to make would involve other people. And it's just a good way to socialize, I guess. So when you're deciding whether you want to do normal journaling or vlogging or both, I would say normal journaling is easier. You know, it's more convenient. You can do it basically anywhere. You can be in a busy place and not feel too weird, you know, speaking to your phone amongst a bunch of people. Because it's definitely something that takes getting used to. I still feel self-conscious now as I'm walking around with my phone in my hand. I have the tendency to stop talking when I come close to someone. It just feels a little odd. But on the other hand, it's good to get out of your comfort zone. It's good to practice public speaking. If you're gonna upload it to the internet, then it shouldn't really matter that, you know, somebody overhears what you're saying, even though you would have the benefit of being able to edit at least anything that you say that's wrong or rambling. And you build skills when you're vlogging, different skills than when you're writing. I've been writing for quite a while, so I figured it's time to practice speaking a bit more, because I have the tendency to say a lot. I hope I don't draw too much attention to it now, but it's also a filler word of mine. So as I go along, I think the main thing when you get started with vlogging is building consistency, building the habit of both capturing and then also going through the upload, because that's something that's happened previously as well, where I'll record videos. I made like a pancake recipe and it was on my phone for the longest time, and I ended up never actually uploading it. So try to find trigger moments. So for me, it's when I walk to the gym and when I walk back here in Dubai. Generally, that's when I'll be recording, because I have to do that distance anyway. It's generally when I don't have anything else to do. I try to fit my schedule around the best time to do it. I noticed that the sun at 11, it's a bit annoying when it's right in the frame, and I actually prefer the CrossFit classes that are earlier. So just try to get a routine in your life where it fits in well. Build the habit, get into the habit of just consistently recording, uploading. And even though the videos suck, you know, at first you don't have anyone watching or judging them anyway. Maybe, you know, a few friends. I don't generally promote my videos too much currently, because I feel it's easier knowing that it might just be a couple strangers rather than people that you know watching them. But another benefit is actually that it makes it easier to stay in touch with friends and family once you feel a bit more comfortable with your videos, it's a good way, I think, to let people know what you're up to, what you're doing, because it's hard just to stay in touch with everyone in your list of acquaintances and friends and family individually. So for me, I'm not the greatest at small talk. Like I can hold a decent conversation in a group or once you get rolling, but it's sometimes hard to like pick a subject because you don't always know what people are interested in or what they're currently up to. And it just gives, like, you know, talking points generally. So that might be another reason. So in terms of what I've tried previously, I had a bunch of channels based on my interests that I started. I started Devo Family first, which was for home videos. That one largely due to one single video, or like 2-3 videos. Got up to about 2,000 subscribers, like purely due to some fluke, some random chance in the algorithm, I suppose. And it's just nice to know that some video randomly might pop off, and it might happen at any point. And when people become interested, that's what I heard from other YouTubers as well. Once people get interested in your channel, they start like binge watching older content. And that's when you have a library of stuff already built up, you get views on older content. So for that reason, I also prefer generally to do evergreen content. That's my main idea for my main channel. So the other channels I was planning to do have Devo Fitness, which was going to be like exercise videos, workout routines. That's another thing I'm really interested in, not just to help other people, but even for myself, to be able to repeat exercises, routines that I liked a lot. It's easier to do if you have a YouTube video rather than doing it all from memory, you know, especially if it's one that you haven't done in a while. Another channel that I started but I haven't uploaded yet, even though I made a few videos for it, is Devo Spirituality. However, on that subject, I suspect that, especially when you're talking about plant medicines and things like that, or things that you might learn during such an experience, it might scare off like your mainstream crowd. So I figured I would have that in a separate channel anyway. Even if it's not just scaring off the mainstream crowd, you might run into issues with the YouTube algorithm trying to maybe protect people from, I guess they might try and not maybe hide, but like repress that type of content slightly unless people are specifically looking for it. So I don't want my main channel to be branded as one that might be like, even though I don't promote these types of substances, I talk about them in a way that might, you know, induce some level of interest. So I realized that. And if you have an idea to do a channel professionally where it's not, you know, a personal vlog or anything, and you actually have a good concept and a good idea and a certain way of executing, by all means, you know, do it that way. That was kind of my idea for another channel that was going to be called Devo Dubai, where it's specifically for people living in Dubai or people really interested in moving to Dubai or just wanting to, you know more about this place. I started the channel Devo Journal, where my idea was to do the vlogging. But then later I talked to a friend and I noticed how the fact that I had so many different channels was kind of creating overhead and creating delays. Because I would have to think like, okay, which channel is this going to go in? I had to like switch between channels. I had to check comments in multiple channels. It just takes a lot more planning and time. And also when I was watching videos, I'd be in the wrong account. So I thought, do I need like a secondary phone and use that phone primarily for videos for this channel? And it just creates a bunch of overhead that I figured I don't need yet at this point. So that's why I'm basically doing segments instead. I'm using one channel. I'll be uploading segments, so people that are not interested in this type of vlogging content where I just talk about whatever pops into my head in this format that's barely edited. I mean, people can skip those, they can still subscribe to the channel. Please, by all means, do. And if you see a vlog, a video that has vlog in the title, and that's not something you're interested in, just, skip it. So yeah, overall, I think, especially when starting out, it might be better to do segments that way, because another major interest of mine, something in which I took a course, is nutrition. So when I was contemplating starting a nutrition channel as well, it's like, okay, does this go into main fitness channel, or people who are interested in following along with workouts, are they also going to be interested in nutrition? So you can get really nitty gritty, and it becomes a lot of just wasted time. So I figured, okay, let's just plop everything or anything that isn't going to cause any issues with the algorithm, let's plop it into one channel and see what happens first and see what's sticky. And I know it might cause some issues with not having a targeted user base. People kind of need to know when they subscribe to a channel, okay, this is what it's about. But then on the other hand, look at Elon Musk. He's interested in rockets, electric cars, memes, cryptocurrencies, jokes, like the president right now. So he's into a lot of different things. So it is possible, I'm not saying I'm remotely comparable to Elon Musk in terms of productivity or achievements, but it's possible for people to get interested in the person, and then you create your own niche, as they say, and then you eliminate the problem of having so many different channels and so many different layers of complexity, basically. So yeah, if you've been toying with the idea of starting a YouTube channel, I would say just go ahead and do it. Give it a try. It doesn't matter if it sucks at first, as long as you learn as you go along, and you'll find out, right? Like, if you never try, you never win. And even if you don't achieve a certain goal that you might set out, like say you want 1,000 subscribers, even if you don't achieve that, at least as long as you enjoy the process, the journey, as long as you learn something, I don't think it's really possible to waste time if you at least improve throughout the process. So with that said, if you are starting a channel or thinking about it, if you want any feedback, let me know in the comments, or if you have any feedback on mine, also let me know. If you do subscribe, thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time.